Yeah, I'm divorced from sports, to be honest with you. Didn't watch didn't watch any of that. Didn't watch any of the World Series. Last year, didn't watch any of the Super Bowl. I'm going to be in Las Vegas on Super Bowl Sunday, kind of, and I won't watch any of that. Um, so I really don't watch sports at all anymore, Conrad. Well, that's not true. I got the NFL package, and I will turn on the Jaguars now and then. They obviously really choked it at the end. Yeah, man. Boy, did they ever. Um,
Yeah, I I saw perhaps the best use of the Kurt Angle meme of all time in regards to the Jags missing the playoffs, but I thought for sure they were in. I mean, it feels like just a handful of weeks ago. I saw lots of people saying they were Super Bowl contenders, and darn it, they missed it.
yeah.
Uh, so I'm excited to see next season. I know that the NFL still continues, but I think next year is going to be an interesting year as a college football fan. We've got Texas and Oklahoma coming into the SEC. I don't know if that's going to work out the way JR maybe hopes.
I'm not so sure how it's going to work out. And of course, we're going to have a 12-team playoff as well next season. For the Georgia Bulldogs, it's going to be one of their toughest seasons. I know I saw on ESPN. Now, I don't really watch sports because I don't know. But I will read about it. And I will go on the app, on the ESPN app, and read some things. And it's it humors me to look on the ESPN app and see all the headlines a lot of times. And a lot of times most of the time, the headlines on ESPN are not about the games. It's about people being in trouble or doing something illegal. To me, it just kind of is a snippet of the sports world now. But so I'll go on and I'll read about what is going on, but I won't watch it. And But for our Georgia fans, I read that they are favorites to be the national champions next year already. I don't know how you can do that. But they must play at Alabama and play at Texas in the regular season next year.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I saw a little preseason, talk about early preseason. I mean, like the night of the national championship, I saw a prediction of the top 25.
Yeah.
Georgia was number 1. Texas was number 2. I forget who was number 3. Alabama was number 4. So it's like, 3 of the top 4 being in the SEC next year. Whew, it's going to be interesting. And speaking of interesting, it's not just regular sports that have happened since you and I hooked it up. AEW had their last pay-per-view of 2023. And what a show it was. AEW seemingly always over-delivers on pay-per-view. I don't think this was any exception. I enjoyed the Andrade Miro match and certainly enjoyed watching Swerve Strickland do his thing. Sting back on pay-per-view, always fun. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage tore it up. But I'm really happy for our friend Eddie Kingston, now the Triple Crown winner. He's won the Continental Classic. He's got the ROH World title. He's got the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. And now the inaugural AEW Continental Championship. You talked about what a great story Big Bill has in wrestling. Eddie Kingston's got to be right up there for one of the best feel-good stories since you and I started doing this podcast.
Eddie's one of my favorites. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, when I think about when I think about all the different guys that I've worked with, I mean, Eddie's one of those real guys that what you see is kind of what you get.
Yes,
on TV. So I have a lot of time for Eddie Kingston. A lot of time. I'm so glad. When he first came aboard, I didn't know anything about him because I had been out of wrestling. And you said, I'm so glad Eddie Kingston is getting a chance with a major promotion. And he continues just to perform well. And his match against Jon Moxley was tremendous. His match against Trent Beretta the other night was very good. And he just gives you good performances every time. So never disappointed with Eddie Kingston in the ring.
And in the main event, unbelievably, somehow, some way, we've got a new world champ. MJF felt like the forever AEW champ. He was the longest reigning AEW champion in their brief history. And now Samoa Joe is the top guy. Samoa Joe has obviously been to the mountaintop before in Ring of Honor and TNA, but now in AEW. And this is years after WWE basically decided, hey, let's make him an announcer. It's really awesome to see him still doing his thing and at a high level in AEW. Samoa Joe is special. I know that this AEW experience is really one of your first encounters with him. What'd you think of the performance he and MJF put together?
It was a great match, and I'm thrilled that Samoa Joe is our champion because backstage wise, he's a pro's pro. There's nobody backstage that is better and a leader backstage for the boys than Samoa Joe, and he leads by example. And I think it's a great move to have him as our world champion. I'm all about Samoa Joe, buddy. I really am.
I'm all about Samoa Joe too. It's a fun time to be an AEW fan. They're coming to a town near you. Pick up tickets now, AEWTIX.com. Tony, I'm excited for us to talk about our topic today because our topic today, I thought maybe we should do something a little more timely. Since you and I have enjoyed the holiday season, a fabulous new movie, maybe the best wrestling movie ever, has come out, The Iron Claw. And it's sort of the story of the Von Erichs and World Class Championship Wrestling. I saw it in the theater the first day they showed it in my market and was thrilled to say that I thought they did a pretty good job. I mean, obviously there's some creative license and you can't include every piece of every story. And there's some timeline things. If you want to nitpick, you can find some things to nitpick. But as far as really telling the human element, I thought it was pretty good. Have you had a chance to see it, or what have you heard about it? If not,
I've heard it's very good, and everybody has really been talking about it backstage. Of course, I haven't seen it. The pandemic just kind of changed the way I watch movies. I haven't gone to the theater in a long, long time. I'm the type of curmudgeon that says I'll wait until it comes out on video. Which is, I mean, look, I was a gigantic growing up, and for a long time, and really still am a gigantic James Bond fan. And when that new James Bond movie came out, No Time to Kill or something like that, I didn't go to the theater and see it. And it's the first time I never went to a theater or that I ever missed a James Bond movie in the theater.
right?
So my theater days, I guess, a combination of the pandemic and getting into the habit of not going, not going to theater. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. And who knows, maybe I'll convince Lois to go and watch the movie with me in the theater.